Welcome to Lesson 2, Part 2 on integer operations. In this section, we will discuss some of the basic operations that can be done with all different types of integers. Let's first talk about the definition. What do we mean by integer operations? We first must understand that positive and negative integers can be added or subtracted in numerous ways. You can subtract a bigger number from a smaller number to get a negative number, a number that is to the left of 0 on the number line. Let's take a look at an easy, quick example. Let's say we have 3 minus 7. And let's represent this problem by thinking about having 3 positive coins and subtracting 3 negative coins. Positive coin and a negative coin will cancel each other out. So if I cancel out this positive with this negative, with this one, and do the same thing for my third positive coin, I got to think about, what do I have left over? What do I have at the end? And I can count that I have 4 coins left over, but since they're 4 negative coins, I can come to the conclusion that my answer is negative 4. 3 minus 7 is a negative 4. But let's take a look at some of these numbers on the number line. So let's imagine we draw the number line, and we put our respective numbers, negative 4, 0, and 3. You don't always have to have all of them. And we go ahead and put a dot where we have 3. If we count from 3 to 0, we know that we're going to count 1, 2, 3 whole number spots, and that this then is the absolute value of 3 because it is 3 whole numbers from 0. If I count from 0 to negative 4, it is 4 whole number spots. In total, from 3 to negative 4 is 7. That's 7 that we subtracted. Looking at a different example, let's think about a winter morning where it's very, very cold overnight, but now the sun's coming up. So let's think about some negative and positive numbers. Let's say that we have negative 13, the temperature in the morning, plus 19, how warm it's gonna get. Temperature goes up by 19 degrees. So negative 13 plus 19. One of the things I gotta think about is to know that, well, 19 is the bigger of the two numbers, and it has a positive. So I can switch this problem around and write 19 minus 13. This made the problem a little bit easier. 19 minus 13 gives me a 6. But I must keep in mind that since the 19 was a bigger number and was positive because I had the plus sign, my answer is positive, so positive 6 was my answer there. Let's think about another example. Let's think about a game show where people answer questions right and gain points, or maybe they get the questions wrong and lose points. So our second example brings us to the problem, negative 33 minus 25. Now 33 is the bigger number with a negative sign, but in this case, since we have 2 negative numbers, we can simply turn this into an addition problem. 33 plus 25, the 3 and the 5 make the 8, the 3 and the 2 make 5, and our answer here is 58. But we must keep in mind that 33 did have the negative as the bigger number, so our answer also gets the negative, and then our answer is a negative 58. Let's take a look at one more example where we can switch things up a little bit. Let's look at 18 minus 27. Once again, a bigger number being subtracted from a smaller number. 27 is the bigger number and it does have a negative sign, but we can still rearrange this problem to make it easier. We can say 27 minus 18. Do our basic subtraction properties. It's going to give us a 9. So with that 9, I think, well, the 27 had a minus, had a negative symbol in front of it, so my 9 must also have the same thing. My final answer is negative 9. 18 minus 27 is negative 9. Where does the connection fall into this? How do I build upon this? Well, when we have temperature changes, when we have problems relating to money, things being subtracted, things being added, essentially, even with playing a game in the score, you have scenarios where numbers can go on either side of the number line. We must make sure we know our operations.